Video games, man, especially long-standing titles, I'm a little things person. So if I can just, go up to an item, press A, and it just flashes up a little screen showing what I got, a little sound effect, that works. Instead of like pausing my game going, dun, 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 I don't need that. Like, yeah, let's just get right into it, man. So in terms of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, it came out at this point probably a month ago now. So, reviews have kind of came and gone. People have beat the game and all that kind of stuff. So I am going to talk about some spoilery kind of things. So if you haven't played the game yet, you had a month. So, there will be spoilers here. So this is your warning, pretty much. Can you see me in chat? I can see you in chat, Bates. I got you. Let me see here. I actually took some notes to make sure I wouldn't get too far off track. So the two things I want to focus on with this Pokemon Scarlet and Violet breakdown on what they did right is I want to talk about flow and I want to talk about challenge. Those are the two, short answers. Like if people ask me, hey Slim, what do you think Pokemon is? What's your favorite thing about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? I will say the flow and the challenge. Simple. So we're going to expound on what that means today. You can see me in chat now. Okay, cool. Oh, that's right. It did kind of reconnect for a second, so don't worry about it. I'm also recording it too as a backup, so that should help us out here a little bit. But, we build it as we fly it. That's all. That's how it goes. And of course, I can always edit things later. But yeah, let's just get right into it, man. So flow. Let's talk about that. So what I define as flow in a game is pretty much the quality of life and how the game kind of progresses from one part to another. Are there pauses in the action and stuff like that? Are there like hiccups in the game? Does the game, can you just play without too many interruptions, pretty much? And Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, well, Pokemon in general in the past has had a very kind of a very interrupted flow. It wasn't bad because it is an RPG at its core. So you kind of have to have that between stopping to get into battles, going into like the Pokemon Center or different shops and stuff like that. So you had to have a little bit of an interrupted flow with a JRPG, but Scarlet and Violet fixes that. Like not only just future Pokemon games, but in my opinion, a lot of JRPGs can take note of that if they haven't already. I haven't played as many JRPGs as I like to lately. So maybe Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is late to the party. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat if I'm missing something there. But in terms of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet in particular, get my notes out. So for one, you may notice, because I actually did a stream on this, a couple of streams on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. But one, you just go right into the battles. No more of the transition like animation. Really, the transition animation in anything. So, like in the past, like whenever you run into like a wild Pokemon, the game stops. It does a little. Yeah, there is none of that. Now you walk right up to the Pokemon, or sometimes it walks right up to you, and y'all just get into it. Boom, and you got your menus up, and you can fight, run. Switch Pokemon. Y'all know how Pokemon works by now. So, and speaking of the transition animations, like I was saying, going into the different like Pokemon centers, I'm really glad they made the Pokemon Center a kiosk now instead of like a building you go into. So they kind of made it into like a little truck stop in a sense. So even though you go inside truck stops, don't think about specifics, man. But yeah, so it has a little kiosk going there. It has like the TM maker. It has the Pokemon Center itself where you can heal your Pokemon, and it has the Mart right there too. Because y'all remember too, like the Pokemon Center and the Pokemon Mart used to be entirely separate entities, where you used to have to go to the Pokemon Center, and then you have to leave the Pokemon Center, go find the Mart in said town, like the Pokemart, and buy all your potions and your Pokeballs and, antidotes and all that good stuff. Now it's a one-stop shop, and I love it. So, and I think they even started the one-stop shop thing as far back as maybe Gen 6, like X and Y on the 3DS. So that was a quality of life improvement there for sure. So for anyone that hasn't played Scarlet and Violet 2, going open world, in my opinion, is probably the smartest thing that they did. I never played Legends Arceus, but apparently they actually they went open world for that game. It's kind of like a new thing, and they decided to keep that for the main line of Scarlet and Violet. And it was a good decision because now you really, just like they say in the commercial, you can explore the vast region of Paldea. And it's true, like you can get into anything, like any part of the game you can walk into, like, because I was actually able to complete the game without upgrading Miraidon at all. Like I didn't upgrade Miraidon until I finished the gym challenge. Now, granted, it made some places a little harder to get to because, spoiler alert, you have to upgrade Miraidon through the Titan challenge. Yeah, Breath of the Wild meets Pokemon. And some people say Pokemon is more open world. Like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is the open world game that Breath of the Wild was supposed to be. But again, your captain doesn't play Zelda like that. So, you know, I can't speak on Breath of the Wild. But maybe somebody in the chat, maybe somebody in the comments can. Pretty much. Oh, but speaking of which, so in the past, yo, GeoGhost, what's up, man? Welcome back, brother. Welcome back. But what was I saying? Here we go. Oh, so we were talking about going through like the gym challenges. So for lack of a better phrase, in Scarlet and Violet, there are pretty much 3 sets of gyms. I'm going to talk more about that in the challenge section. But in terms of like how the game flows, my personal belief is another smart thing they did was there's no story interruption between gyms, because some of the older Pokemon games, they were more linear. You had a set path that you had to follow. Like you had Gym 1, Gym 2, Gym 3, Gym 4, Gym 5, Gym 6. Then maybe you had a scuffle with a legendary or a scuffle with the villain team or whatever. And then you had Gym 7, Gym 8. Then you had Victory Road, Elite 4, you know, sing the song if you know the words type deal. But this time, they was like, look, bro, if you can beat all 8 gyms, go beat all 8 gyms. You got it, cowboy. Go get them. And, yeah, I'm going to talk about that more in the challenge portion. Oh, but in terms of, 2 more things in terms of flow that I really liked. So, remember I was talking about pauses in the game and interruptions and things like that? Even something like picking up an item has been streamlined. Like, in my video games, man, especially long-standing titles, I'm a little things person. So if I can just, you know, go up to an item, press A, and it just flashes up a little screen showing what I got, you know, a little sound effect, that works. Instead of like pausing my game going, dun, 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 dun. I don't need that. Like it stops the action. But now you're just riding around on Miraidon or running throughout the fields. You see a Pokeball, you pick it up. It's like, ooh, got a potion. You know, ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of rare candy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's pretty much how that goes with that. And also, one thing that I didn't realize until a little bit after I had the game, auto heal. That's a game changer too, because now it's less menus to go through. So it used to be you used to have to you know, pause. You have to pause the game, go into the Pokemon, go into the bag, find the right healing, heal the Pokemon one by one, and then get back into the game. Again, disrupting the flow of the experience. Now, you just press the X button one time, you press auto heal for whatever Pokemon you need to do it for, and boom, you back into it, just like that. But yeah, so I talked about no story interruptions. Now, with the little Titan challenge or whatever, and the Team Star portion of the game, there is some little story elements, which are actually, you know what? I didn't write this down, but the story is actually a lot better too. Like the story elements that are there. Like one spoiler, I'm not gonna give away because it does tie into the last part of the game, but it's gonna blow your mind. Like some of y'all saw it if you saw my Pokemon stream already, but yeah, the big spoiler at the end, but also just seeing how the different NPCs kind of interact in their role in the story and stuff like that. That was really cool to see. It fleshed people out in a way that I haven't seen in a Pokemon game in a long time. So that's going to cover it as far as flow. So the next thing I want to get into is the challenge, because, oh boy, this game is not easy. This game, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, it gives you some guidelines. It kind of gives you some do's and don'ts. But this game does not hold your hand anymore. Game Freak apparently listened to the hardcore gamer base and was like, look, we got this. Stop trying to hold our hand. Game Freak was say less. and we got Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Like, you got Nurse Joy at the Pokemon Center, who, like, in the beginning of the game, she'll tell you some different things to know or whatever. But for the longest time, for example, I didn't even know what the food did, like the different sandwiches and all that. And even now, I have to go on YouTube to figure this stuff out. They really don't break it down for you. But that's good, though, because the answers are reserved for the seekers anyway. That's what I like about this game, is that any answers that you want, any kind of assistance that you want, yeah, the answers are basically going to be reserved for the seekers in that regard. So there's that. And I can't remember if I got this on stream, but sometimes you're going to end up in the wrong neighborhood, bro. Like, you'll be walking around on a path that, maybe you ain't leveled up to be at yet. I remember very vividly this, and I think this was off stream. I think my Pokemon were about level 20 on average, and I was just trying to get to the next gym, or even that, I was just trying to, figure my way around, just try to get to know the game, because there's no level scaling, which at first I thought was going to be a problem, but it kind of worked out better. Yeah, the 30 you look. We'll talk about that in a little bit too. Actually, we'll talk about it now, because that's the last thing I did want to mention in flow. Sorry if I'm getting a little bit off track, but what's that you claim? But yeah, the 30-year looking old student. Now, like, you can skip the trainer battles entirely. Normally, like, if someone caught you lacking in their neighborhood, speaking of being in the wrong neighborhood, and one of the trainers caught you lacking, they looked at you and you saw the exclamation point go up, like, it was time to fight. You know what I'm saying? So, but now you can just walk right by them. You'll see a little thought bubble of them saying something to you. You could be like, get out of here. But the cool thing about it is, if you do choose to battle them, you do get some pretty cool items too. So, battle them now, battle them later. It's completely up to you. But back to the challenge thing, like Henrock said, some of these freaking Tauros, man, they be, especially at dark too. I think this when this happened, I ran up against like a level 47 Tauros. Was like, yo, what set you claim, homie? And I was like, set claim. I'm just trying to get to the gym, sir. You know what? I'm sorry if I'm in the wrong neighborhood. Like, yeah, watch this. Oh, what's the name of Tauros? Raging Bull. Bow. All the Pokemon getting snapped, getting smacked up. Oh, and don't think you're gonna run, because the Pokemon's a higher level. Yeah, you can't get away safely. So now Tauros is just bullying your poor Pokemon to death, and you got to go to the Pokemon Center, and not the one you just passed by, because you figured you couldn't. You figured that you didn't need to stop there. You thought she was good. No. You got to go back to the last Pokemon Center that you stopped at. So now you got to run all the miles all over again, and it becomes a whole thing, man. Like, yeah. So that's the first thing that's going to beat your ass. And I'm going to say beat your ass a lot. So, if saying the word ass offends you, this ain't your podcast. Anyway, but I try not to curse as much, but I will say ass a lot on this particular episode. So deal with it. Anyway. So yeah, man, a lot of things will beat your ass. And before I get into that, there's something else I want to mention too. It used to be like, after you completed the main game, you would just have a lot of money. I was about to say something else, but again, try not to curse that much. But you would just have a lot of money, almost infinite seeming amount of money. And okay, shout out to Bates for the no cursing benefit. But yeah, so yeah, you would have a lot of money. And you couldn't figure out what to do with it, because you bought everything you need. You got all the full restores. You got enough for vibes. You good. There was nothing else to spend it on. Not this time. Dude, cash rules everything around Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. That doesn't even, spell cream, but, just go with it. Just go with it. But anyway, I say all that to say, there's no like BP in the game. There's no battle tower. Oops, spoilers, my bad. But yeah, so now I say all that to say, you now have to buy everything straight up, and you just always got to have money. Oh man, so yeah, you just gotta have money available for vitamins to do like the EV values in Pokemon. Yeah. You're going to need a lot of money. And let's see. I'm trying to think what else. And even then, you still got to have different. You still gotta have your different items and stuff, because again, things will beat you behind. For example, the gyms. Again, these are the hardest gyms I've fought in a very long time. And the first three weren't that bad, but yo, that number 4, freaking Salaryman Larry, tore my behind up. I think I may have fought Salaryman Larry or Everyman Larry about 5 times before I figured him out. I'm talking, look at me, y'all. I'm talking Whitney Miltank nightmares. Some of my older people who played Pokemon Gold and Silver know what I'm talking about. Rollout over and over and over again with Miltank. This time, it's Staraptor's Facade. Freaking Terrastalize Staraptor with the normal buff and Facade, and then I had the audacity to try to poison this thing, to try to give myself an advantage. Nope. Facade. One-shotted everybody. It was horrible, man. It was horrible. I didn't know what to do. Got me on here fake crying on stream. But I about wanted to cry. I was like, I had to level people up. I had to switch Pokemon in. I think I finally put Bronzong in, and I was able to finally do something about it. But Bronzong was struggling, boy. I don't know what was going to happen. But yeah, so when you get past all of that, and I'm pretty sure everybody has a gym in Pokemon Scarlet or Violet that just tore them to pieces. So let me know what gym was the hardest for you in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. But yeah, the villain Team Star, they'll beat your mind. Because, again, the first couple, relatively easy. And I also like what they did, too. Again, going back to that flow thing. The way they did the Team Star battles. Because before, you would just go into, like, an abandoned building or, like, a laboratory. And you fight the villain team members and all that. It would seem very ho-hum. But now, you actually go through Team Star's little camp or whatever. And you use the kind of the auto battle feature to go through everyone's Pokemon. And that's something else. Again, I'm forgetting things with flow. The auto battle, like, even though you don't get like any EV points, you get some quick and dirty experience right there. Especially for like the hordes of Pokemon that'll be out there. No, we're not doing that because we're talking about what they did right. I may do another video dumping on it, but I probably won't. There are plenty of other YouTubers and things dumping on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Oh yeah, the ones wearing the helmets. That's right, Bates. The ones wearing the special helmets. I'll keep it at that. But yeah, Team Star. But those are fun battles though. Going through the auto battle, and then you fought like the big car, which something else I didn't realize until later on. I thought the car was the Pokemon. No. There's like an engine Pokemon that attaches to rocks and various different stationary objects, and it just makes it look like it's a car you're fighting. It's a pretty dope mechanic too. So yeah, and this is a pretty dope mechanic too, as far as that. But yeah, one of the Team Star guys, because the different cars had different elements attached to them. So I think I struggled against the fairy one because I had my lead Pokemon was a half dark type, and yeah, it was. Once Meowscarada went down, my grass dark type, it was Rapski's because everybody else was all weak and just ugh. It wasn't a good time. Got ran over by, I think they call the torque attack or something like that. I can't remember what it's called, man. But yeah, it was not fun. So let me see what else. All right, so we talked about the gyms. We talked about Team Star. Now, the Titans won't really beat you behind. The Titans were a little bit easier, but it was kind of, again, a different thing, kind of expanding on. They actually introduced that concept in Gen 7, Sun and Moon, fighting giant Pokemon, so I'm glad they kind of found a way to introduce that in the game. That was kind of cool as well. Let me see. Oh, the Elite Four. So, speaking of Salaryman Larry... So, I'm going to spoil it. He's part of the Elite Four too. Ta-da! But what I'm not going to tell you is what type he switches to, because he does not have the same type of Pokemon in his gym battle as he does in his Elite Four battle. But even still, yeah, it was, yeah. those Elite Four battles, they were something else. But again, I like that kind of difficulty. So you thought I was gonna say hard, didn't you? You ain't gonna catch me slipping. Not today. But yeah, a lot of difficulty there in those battles. But again, it felt good because when I finally did beat the Elite Four and finally got to the champion, I felt like I accomplished something. Not even gonna lie. Which I haven't had that feeling since I played maybe like Gen 3, the Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, which, fun fact, was actually the first Pokemon game I actually like owned, that I bought with my own money. Like, I played Gold and Silver, I played Yellow, but I rented them. I never had them with my own money. So there was that. So something else that I'll beat you behind too. Have any of y'all tried the raids? Yeah, those Terra raids where you get one Pokemon and you get the little crystal that has a different type. Now, the raids 1 through 3, those are pretty cool. But when you start going, you earned it, girl, you earned it. Exactly. But I think that's how that goes. But anyway, yeah, Terra raids, 4 stars and up. Yeah, you got to eat your Wheaties on that one because those Pokemon do not mess around. I'm gonna tell again, they do not mess around. Like the way they did the raids, man. Like again, it feels like you accomplish something once you beat these things, and then they throw their little shield up. Just when you got them on the ropes, they pretty much throw their shield up, get like half their health back, and you right back to square one. And God forbid you don't have the right Terra type to take them down because you pretty much do have to terrestrialize in order to beat them when they activate their shield. Yeah, if you ain't got the right type, it's a bad day for you. It's a very bad day for you. But again, so much fun. And I really want to play with other people, but I've had no success with that. So I just wound up playing with some of the NPCs, some of the computer players. And hey, sometimes we run through it. Other times, it's a struggle. But that's something else they did, too. Like, they made the raids fun this time. I don't know if y'all remember Sword and Shield. The raids, again, they felt a little too easy. Like, especially if you had a type advantage, you could one-shot the freaking Dynamax Pokemon. And it was kind of like, I mean, it was a good way to farm different items and experience candies and all that. So, it had value there. But this time, you can get a Pokemon with the type that you want. You can get experience candies. And I think I heard something. I can't confirm this because I haven't really seen it with my own eyes. But even if you lose the Terra raids, you still get items too. So again, someone correct me if I'm wrong on that one there. And I think the last thing I want to bring up is, let's see, we talked about Terra raids, talked about the Elite Four. The champion, I'm not going to tell you who that is. You probably already know if you've played it enough. But the champion wasn't really much of a challenge. Like, people say she's the worst champion. I agree. But again, I'm not here to dump on Pokemon. Again, plenty of YouTubers already doing that. So this is a quick episode. This is probably the fastest episode I've ever done. But yeah, that's the High Score Haven podcast, episode 4, talking about what Pokemon did right. If you feel like I missed anything, you feel like something else that you liked about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, leave it in the comment section down below. I'll be happy to continue the conversation there. High Score Haven 5 will be dropping within 1 to 2 weeks. I'm still trying to figure out what topic I want to discuss there, but hey, when I know, you'll know. But yeah, no problems interrupting at all. Like I try not to talk to the chat too much while I'm actually recording, but it works out, especially if y'all say something good. But until then, we are out. You are dismissed.